Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 140 of Shadow and Flame with Magic, the podcast. I am John Connor III, and today we are going to review X-Men Volume 7, Issue 3. So let's get to it. And thanks to our trip on Wednesday, where we went to see the script, Cheryl Crow, and Pink in Missoula, we were able to stop by Muse Comics, and I got some monthly comics and some Marauders back issues, so chipping away at my Lockheed wish list. So thank you to Muse Comics and my lovely wife for driving me us over there. And so this is written by Jed McKay, penciler Ryan Stegman, inkers J.P. Mayer and Livesay, colorist Marty Garcia, letter VC Clayton's Cowles. I did get volume or issue two's J. Scott Campbell variant, and you can see the covers of what I picked up on both TikTok and YouTube, both at Jackal SII. Um, I had the thought during when I was pausing it between segments of like, oh, I should mention like, please hear my thoughts on the podcast, and then failed to market it. So. Born with incredible superhuman abilities, mutants have long been prosecuted for their differences. The mutant heroes known as the X-Men were trained by Professor Charles Xavier to use their powers to protect the world that hates and fears them, and to bridge the growing divide between humanity and mutant kind. That's the premise. Catching up on the last two issues, tracing another apparent adult X gene activation in San Francisco, Cyclops and the rest of the X-Men found a mutant named Ben Yu in the midst of an alien invasion. While battling the aliens, the team realized that they were actually fighting illusions subconsciously created by Ben's mutant ability to warp reality. After faking Ben's death, the X-Men returned with him to the faculty, their new headquarters in Alaska. There, they began to delve into the mystery of Ben's mutant mutation. And the cast is Cyclops, Beast, Magneto, Psylocke, Kid Omega, Temper, Magic, and Juggernaut. I would rearrange that so Magic was a lot closer to the top, but here we are. And we have the Faculty Alaska with Vanisher teleporting some goons in. And then we see that Scott is driving to meet a military person at a restaurant. Agent Lundquist. And on the way there, Scott's talking to Beast about how Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, and Wolverine's team has their own new mutants they've found. And Lundquist, who's a name I cannot get in my head. Meanwhile, at the faculty, Magneto, still in his chair for some reason, we don't know. Oya is explaining why she's called Temper, because it's like tempering steel, but I still not on board with the name of this. And she's still holding a grudge, as she should, about when Magneto voted for her to go into exiled on Krakoa. So we're not forgetting that. Scott and Lundquist reminds everyone about Fall of the House of X, where Scott was put on trial in Paris, but it was still Summers versus the United States, and how a compromise was made where he was given the base. Oh, and apparently Beast is a vegetarian, and so he's making, or no, the cook is a vegetarian, so everyone's a vegetarian in the faculty, and so he orders a BOT. We catch Magic. Kid Omega finds Beast unconscious. Magic's playing chess, though we don't know who she was playing against. But apparently, Kid Omega's, and I'm still not on board with him. But his telepathy makes it give Magic an ice cream headache every time. So it's like, oh, and she's holding her head and she's having to put her Kirby hat between fingers. Where it's like, oh man, those things must be pretty solid. And so now they're trying to find the intruders. Um, she's telling Juggernaut to get his head in the game. They're very clever, shielded by psychic scans, thermal imaging, and the naked eye. But she spent her formative years with demons, so the intruders can't hide their souls. Lundquist shows Scott, who's just like scarfing the sandwich in his mouth. As we all know, Scott Summers enjoys his sandwiches. And apparently there was footage from behind, which makes sense that this is the angle it would be at, but it's Scott, Psylocke, and Magic from the last issue, where he's announcing, "We tracked your X gene activation signature. Your power is only manifested today. I don't know why it didn't happen when you were younger, but it's happening. We need to get you out of here." And which has caused mutant hysteria once again. Not like humans need an excuse, but that, now that the world knows the mutant gene can activate in adults, that we're no longer safe from, like, once you turn 18 and haven't gotten your powers, then, you're not going to become a mutant. But now it turns out there's a chance somehow. So that's one of the mysteries of the from the Ashes era. And cut back to Magic. He's like, "There, two little soul flames. Take them." And then Juggernaut, can't be stopped as he rushes into them. Um, Kid Omega dumps water on the other two, so Psylocke takes them down, but not killing any of them. And we had an awesome splash page. Psylocke realizing that they're after Cerebro, which is just good to know that the X-Men have a Cerebro here, because the one in the X Mansion has been destroyed. Not like that one's been used at all. Oh, and Kid Omega almost slips that Ben's not dead because they've been talking to using telepathy. Um, oh yeah, then Cyclops reminds Lequest that he should be happy that the X Men have such a public base because his team, Psylocke, Kid Omega, Juggernaut, Magic, otherwise known as an assassin, a terrorist, and a supervillain, and Ileana's a half demon on a good day, plus Magneto, little Breakfast Club um, vibes. So, they could easily be his brotherhood, but they're working under X-Men pretenses. The other goons are about to destroy the Cerebro when Oya shows up and freezes them, but doesn't burn them, but could easily have killed them. I do like her suit having her half shirt is half blue, half gold, and the gold side has a knee pad for some reason. And then we get back to Scott and Lundquist as Magic portals everyone there. We'll teleport. Kid Omega has them all in a side bubble. And Scott's like, "Tell this to your bosses. They don't want Scott Summers or his nice estates to kick off for real." Which is a fun play on how legal terms or court cases are put in those terms, but also wars are as well. And then Scott has to wash his hands first. He gets all the way to the bathroom. He is having some major sweats as he's telling himself to breathe, breathe, breathe. So he's having a clear panic attack, which, as a guy who used to have panic attacks as well, he should definitely go to therapy and learn some breathing techniques, and which I guess maybe he's already doing that. But so therapy will help with the anxiety. And panic attacks are legit. They sort of feel like heart attacks, and then with the opportunity or the option to be like, "Well, if this is a heart attack, then this is how I go." And that's a weird head trip of recognizing, like, well, if this is it, and then making peace with that is a weird moment in time. Um, so hopefully he seeks out the help, gets his panic attacks under control, and they can become a thing of the past that you just, sort of think about from time to time, your moments. And then I also bought the Marvel 85th anniversary special that was like $8, everyone, which, like, thankfully in Montana we don't have sales tax. But then again, like I'm from Arizona, where like you can get your state driver's license for like $10, whereas here they're $100, and so it's like, oh yeah, like no sales tax, so the government has to get you somehow. And so we are interested in the lighthouse haunted, or are we at the nexus of infinite universe? Writer and artist Alan Davis and color artist Rachelle Rosenberg, which it's 10 pages, and nope. Megan has punched Captain Britain. Oh man, maybe take a breath. As Megan has punched Captain Britain, her boyfriend at the time, so hard that he's cracked the breakfast table. Um, Kitty's there saying, I only wanted oatmeal. Kurt and Rachel are there. Rachel in her classic red outfit with her mullet. Nightcrawler in his classic, well, Dave Cockrum designed outfit. Megan's in her full yellow unitard with the, um, what do you call the head part, like the scarf, but it's built in. Um, and Kitty's in her classic Alan Davis blue outfit, which I guess would be more John Romita Jr., but there's differences enough that I think the classic blue Excalibur outfit's good enough. Then we cut back to 27 minutes ago. Kurt's trying to get the pipes fixed as they live in the lighthouse, the Excalibur lighthouse, and Brian's clearly not telling them that he owns a mansion in the city that they can easily be working at. But there's five of them, so the pipes need adjusting. Kitty's been seeing some weird visions, and so she's created a device that lets them zone in on interdimensional affairs. Which and then we get a cool panel of Alan Davis is drawing Marvel characters in various looks and creatures wearing uniforms. And so then there's a giant explosion as Brian's fights the Fury. And then we learn that the whole thing was all illusions created by Count Urfeet, Master of Perception, who I don't recognize, but I guess he's just a British villain. And so during the explosion, Brian was knocked out for a moment, but so Count Urfeet disguised himself as Brian, who touched Megan's shoulder. And she's like, "Don't touch me, you swine," and knocks him out. And then in his unconsciousness, he turns back into his original look. Um, and then Captain UK shows up and takes Count Urfit away. And then Kurt introduces that he's Nightcrawler, Kitty is Shadowcat. And then Linda confesses that on Earth 794, her name's Flamingo, which really trips Kitty up because she's like, Flamingo? And then Rachel learns that she doesn't really have a universal equivalent. She's a one and the only. And comments about how her mullet and catsuit are awesome. Kitty's still taken back by Flamingo. And so everyone's rested assured that all their visions they've been seeing have been illusions, like just figments of their or not imagination, but illusions caused for them. But it turns out they're still haunted as we see the sad Kitty Pryde Shadowcat from the World War II world, who's like, but we just see her cloaked figure, but it's clearly her. And that was two issues I bought. Let's see what other comics came out this week. Aliens versus Avengers with no other X-Men content. Um, this laptop. Oh, NYX2 came out, which was pretty awesome. Um, the writers Kelly and Mortarnino we're on Cerebro talk about how each of their first six issues is going to deal with a different, right, spotlight a different character. So Wolverine got this issue, which feels like a backdoor pilot to her ongoing that we're supposed to be getting in November. So it was pretty cool, and we didn't get any empath, so I really liked it. We get like Miss Marvel on 2 pages, and so it feels like not enough. Like it also feels like 1B, like 1A was following Miss Marvel and Sophie, and this one felt like 1B where we follow Wolverine. So we'll see if 3 feels more progress. Though I can tell you right now, I'd be more interested in Sophie than I would be Prodigy and Anoli. But pretty good. There was a lot of hints or allusions to the original NYX, which if I was the writers, I would want to stay away from that and be like, yeah, we're trying to distance ourselves from Laura having like being a cutter and a prostitute for a while, as thankfully we've never gone back to that well, but now it seems like we're hinting at it. So, Ultimate X-Men 6 came out where we learn more about the cult and how the cult calls themselves the Trigger and the Atom. So that's just fun that we're getting that terminology being used. The Shadow and Armor fought each other. They're still not calling him the Shadow King. We learned a character is related to Molly from Runaways, who we're led to believe is Cyclops from future artwork. So it'd be interesting him having a sister and not a brother, and then not only a sister, but a sister from Runaways. So it's like, oh man, the Ultimate Universe is just going for broke. Oh, and X Force 2. So I would say NYX 2, huge improvement. As I thought X Men 2 was a huge improvement. And X Force 2 came out, and I will also say was a huge improvement. So, like, the second issues have all been pretty stellar. Um, I will say, though, X Force 2 lacked Rachel in it for a lot of it. Betsy's not in it a lot either, but it was from Sage's point of view, and I was a huge fan of that. She does not like magic, which makes sense with her mind. Surge got a lot more play. I'm still under the impression Tank is a AI given robot form and not a secret identity for someone. But I could be way wrong on that. But I don't know. I didn't get Colossus vibes from this character. And his speech bubble is clearly, I don't know, it's given like, I don't know, a technical flair to it. Um, and this one guest starred Black Panther, but barely. Um, so I'll be curious to see who's in issue 3. And that is all the comics from Wednesday. So let's see what comes out this Wednesday. Brr, 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 brr. Yes. Exceptional X-Men #1 by Ewing, Dr. Eve L. Ewing and Carmen Carnero. And I apologize now for who I'm going to be come Wednesday, as I am going to be obsessed with this book. And people have been commenting on Twitter, um, which you can follow me on Twitter at Jacko SII, that Exceptional X-Men being the third flagship title does not feel like it's being promoted like it is. So people have been mentioning about how Ewing's is not on Twitter, and so maybe we're just not following it like we do Gail Simone and Jay McKay. Um, but Carmen Carnero is on Twitter. She's a great follow, and though she doesn't seem like she posts too much, but maybe she'll post a lot more this week. Not listed on here is the Lockheed Infinity comic that's supposed to be coming out on Friday, so I'm hoping to review both those things. Let's see here. We have a Marvel Zombies Dawn of Decay 1 coming out that might have some X-Men content, though it looks like Groot is the main character, so time will tell. There's a Marvel and Disney What If Donald Became Thor, which after Donald was Wolverine, I'm less interested in it. They're reprinting Secret Wars, the original one, 9, which I still don't know who that audience is for that. Just buy the trade. Um, they're reprinting Uncanny X-Men 274, which is that Gambit's first appearance? Maybe. And Venom War is still a thing. So oh, literally scrolled down and had already forgotten. I was like, well, I don't know what the main comic's going to be. But, dear listener, I am going to be getting Exceptional X-Men. I'm already slated to get the Scott Kobish cover, variant cover that is a wraparound with all the characters. That's part 4 and the final part of his 4-issue run that started in X-Men Volume 635, Uncanny X-Men Volume 6 1, X-Men Volume 7 1, and now Exceptional X-Men 1. Which they announced they're making a extraordinary X-Men, but no news on who's the creative team or the cast for that. To the point now where I'm like, did I make that up? But I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere, right? Because people are like, well, that's going to cause confusion with Exceptional X-Men. Just 2 ebooks? Like, curious. Yeah, this, of course, is going to be Kitty Pryde's book with Emma Frost. The solicitations imply that even by issue 3, Kitty's still putting her heels in about how she does not want to be mentoring new students. People are all about bronze, which they should be, but I'm all about melee. And poor Axel is just a dude with empath powers. But I guess to be fair, his skin color changes to what mood he's trying to display. So if you see his face being a different color, you'll be able to recognize, like, oh, he's activated his powers. So, you know, hopefully there's a third person in the room who's like, hey, what's going on here? I don't know. Emotional manipulators, it's an icky power. So we'll see. Um, oh, and then I'm also scheduled for, let's turn on variant covers. I know her name starts with a B. Oh, I clicked on variant covers and it still didn't load. Ridiculous. Thanks to our friends at marvel.fandom.com, I'm getting the Besh variant, Besch. It's the only variant cover thus far that has Lockheed on it. And in 2 weeks, we're going to Great Falls, so I'll stop by Kellogg's Comics and then hopefully be able to pick up the regular cover and trying to see which other covers feature Kitty on it. There's a Torque cover. Oh yeah, where her costume looks very X-Men Evolution y. And there is the foil or the Jones cover that also has her on it. So we'll see which covers we all get. Um, oh, there's a Godzilla variant. Is Kitty on that? Oh, hey, Kitty is on that. I wouldn't mind getting a Godzilla Kitty cover. Though recognizing we're going to be there 2 weeks after the fact, but still, we'll see how they, what I'm able to get. And then you follow me at all on Twitter. I've now since moved to this because I was using the Inuit Shadow Kate cover, but now that we're in this From the Ashes era, I've been using this one for my, who's your favorite female comic book character question, or just anything I could apply, answer the question of who's your favorite blank, and I can answer it with Kitty Pryde and Lockheed. I do so, which I'm sure everyone enjoys, but you um, gotta represent, and I do. Um, there's an expression, but I got stuck on. Gotta stay on theme. You gotta stay on. You have to stay on brand. That was it. Took me a second there. So that, everyone, was episode 140 of Shadow and Flame with Magic. Thank you so much for listening. Um, you can follow the podcast's accounts on Instagram and Twitter at SNFWM. And if you ask a friend to listen and subscribe, we appreciate you doing so as we get the podcast to grow. And on YouTube, I'm also playing Guardians of the Galaxy, the game, and as opposed to the Telltale game, which I played and is also on my account or channel. I was supposed to play Assassin's Creed 3, Guardians of the Galaxy, Uncharted 4. Um, I was gonna do like one episode each and then just keep rotating, but I read that Guardians of the Galaxy only has 16 chapters, and I'm on chapter 4, so there's a part of me that's like, well, I was gonna see like play each one until one of them clicked and was like, how I'm gonna do this, but Guardians sort of just clicked, and so I sort of wanted to, do that. And I don't know, Uncharted 4, or I guess the whole franchise, this might be a hot take. Um, there's just so many goons you have to fight. Like, I like how Tomb Raider, the survival trilogy, is probably no more than like 8 dudes, maybe 15 dudes you fight. But like each time you gotta fight goons in Uncharted, it's like 20 to 50 guys, and the checkpoints are very stringent in with like where you are in the checkpoint. And it's just like I don't, and even I'm playing on easy, which as a guy in his, at 42 and being old dad, I don't have all the time in the world to just like spend an hour trying to get good and beat a boss or get past the sequence. I'm just like, let me do this. And so I remember Uncharted 4 also having an issue with their puzzles being very puzzly. And like after watching YouTube to solve a second puzzle in a row, I was like, all right, time for a break. But I feel like I must be close to it. So I want to get back to Uncharted 4. I was enjoying Assassin's Creed 3, um, but I think I'm just in a Guardian says space. And I love how on the Milano Star Lord has a Dazzler poster. So I'm like, hey, here we are. This is what I want to be doing. Um, so Yeah, so I think I'm committing to Guardians of the Galaxy in the moment. So if you like that game and want to watch gameplay of it, I'm slowly making my way through. I'm on chapter 4 of 16. I guess spoilers on how many chapters there are. Too late by the time I said that. Um, I'm looking at the fandom page. I'm like, I guess I can always call Kelly and be like, hey, can you just pull me all the variant covers? But that doesn't seem fair. Like, I'm already getting the two I want. Well, let's see what it looks like. But, yeah. And then we live in Montana, so unfortunately, because I was like, yeah, we just go to Great Falls once a month. And my wife was like, I don't want to go there once it starts snowing. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to do that. So we'll see what we do here. But as far as I know, still preview pages for issue 1, still no Lockheed. So where's our purple dragon? Except in the digital comic, that also comes out. So maybe the digital comics him coming back to Kitty in Chicago. Fingers crossed. This is me fingers crossing. And so, yeah, so these are my thoughts. Well, thank you for listening to them. I feel heard, and I will talk at you next time. All right, everyone. Bye.